Are you craving that homemade taste? Head over to our Carol and Janelle's in the new Takeaway Kitchen, located on Main Street in Old Forge for over 50 years. When family and friends are looking to get away to dinner, head to the new Takeaway Kitchen at our Carol and Janelle's. As authentic as it gets. Eat in or pick up. Mouth-watering red and white pizza, delicious pasta dishes, scrumptious desserts. When family and friends come in, the best in your hospitality comes out. Head to Old Forge and visit our Carol and Janelle's, where you can eat in or pick up at the new Takeaway Kitchen today.
We're coming to you live from Robert T. Shields Stadium at the campus of FDU-Florham for tonight's contest. The Wilkes Colonels on the road taking on the FDU Devils. It's Wilkes Football Live on the John Mendola Show Network and on GoWilkesU.com. I'm Tom Ferguson. Thanks so much for joining us. It is a crisp, cool, clear evening tonight in Madison, New Jersey for this matchup under the lights between the Devils of FDU, coming in on the season 4-1 overall, 2-1 in the MAC, and the Wilkes Colonels 3-3 overall, 2-2 in the MAC. This is the only MAC game happening tonight. Everybody else playing tomorrow afternoon. Lyco at Delaware Valley, a noon kickoff in that one. That is one of two big matchups between the top couple teams in the MAC. The other one to look out for, Stevenson at Widener. That game at 1 p.m. At Widener in Chester. Meanwhile, Misericordia travels to Lebanon Valley. That game's at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Kings is at Alvernia. That game at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Albright on the bye. So these are the only two teams active tonight in the MAC. Misericordia and Wilkes and FDU. I'm getting my schools confused here. Colonels got on a 2-game winning streak, though. They've looked pretty good their last couple games. Had a 20-point victory over Alvernia. Had an exciting finish, 47-43 over Albright. They face an FDU team that's off to the best start since the mid-90s. The most wins in a season, 4 since 2005. So they've really been playing well. They're coming off a bye last week. They beat Albright 48-34 2 weeks ago. 27-0, they outscored the Lions in the second half. Scored on 3 of their first 4 possessions in the first half. They hit a couple big plays. Their team had sacks and an interception. Jagger Green, we're going to talk a lot about him tonight. 26-46, 335 yards, 6 touchdowns, and an interception against Albright. I got a chance to sit down with Coach Drock before tonight's contest between the Colonels and FDU, and here's what he had to say about the Colonels last week against Albright and what he expects this week against FDU. It's the Wilkes Football pregame show, getting ready for their matchup with FDU-Florham. As always, we're joined by Coach John Drock. Coach, before we get to this week's game, let's go back and look at what was last week's game, an emotional shootout win at home versus Albright. 9 lead changes, 916 yards of combined offense, a last-second win. What does a win like that do for a young team like the Colonels?
I think, it gives us a little bit of momentum going into this week more than anything. I think that we're able to clean up a couple things here and there from that win, but you saw that the team continue to fight, and this one we pulled out. We haven't pulled out some of the ones previously in the season that we fought all the way to the end on, and this one we kind of turned a corner, hope a little bit, and next time we're in that situation again, we'll be confident enough that we can go and win the football game.
It looked in doubt, especially the third quarter. Let's go back to that. Jose throws his 3rd interception. Albright turns that into points. A Wilkes drive stalls in their territory. They get it back with 9:53 to go in the third, and from there it got a little crazy, but what was kind of going through your mind at that point in the game?
Honestly, just keep making positive plays. I think that's one of the things we talk about offensively and defensively is that we had to slow them down a little bit, and I thought the defense played spectacular in the first half, and the offense kind of laid them out to dry. And then in the second half, the offense played pretty well after that first interception of the first series. And after that, we kind of got it going, and the defense was struggling a little bit. So it's about all of us playing 60 minutes together on the same page all game. We'll definitely have a different result. But at the same time, I was happy to see the offense bounce back.
Obviously, the defense did have their struggles in the fourth quarter, but they were the ones that kind of set the offense up in the third quarter. Andrew Chang gets a pick. That sets up the offense for a touchdown. He tips another pass. Shane Montague returns that for a touchdown, and the whole complexion of the game changes. How massive were those few series just for your team?
That was huge. That's what kept us in that football game, because that game almost got away from us a little bit with the turnovers and whatnot, and the defense stepped up and made a couple pretty big plays as far as momentum goes, and gave the offense quite a bit of confidence. And then once we got rolling offensively, I think we were able to kind of take hold of the game a little bit.
That was seemingly all it took for Jose Tabor to take over, led the offense to 3 crucial touchdowns in the third. You kind of touched on this, having to answer a score every time. He finished with a school record 6 touchdowns thrown in the game in the process. I mean, what can you say at this point about his meaning to the team and their success?
I think if we play smarter at that position, we have more success throughout the course of the game, and he knows that. You know what I mean? I think that there's super highs with Jose, and there's lows with Jose too. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the things with him being a young football player. We played 6 games this year. He started essentially 4 games prior to that, so he has not even played an entire freshman season yet. And he still makes some freshman mistakes at times, you know what I mean? And with him only being a sophomore, he's just going to continue to learn. Every one of those interceptions is a learning experience for him of what not to do with the football and what chances not to take versus just taking a sack or throwing the football away and those types of things. And I think that he's continually developed as a player as we go from week to week to week, and he'll learn from those mistakes and continue to get better into FDU this week.
I thought the role players were huge in this one. You had Joe Lashinsky catching a touchdown, Jordan Jones picking up a crucial first down, Chang and Montague, we talked about their plays in the secondary, coming up with big interceptions for that one. Are you just from an effort standpoint, or how proud are you, I should say, are you from just an effort standpoint of these kids?
We always give great effort. You know, that's never anything I've ever questioned with this football team, and they're excited to be out there. They're excited to be playing football, and you can see that when they play. You don't ever have to coach effort here. I think that with those kids are all heart, and that's the majority of our team, to be honest with you. We have Jose and Stieber, and we have a couple Vinnies and whatnot on defense and that kind of thing, and Luke and Bud and those kind of guys who are definitely superior athletes, but at the same time, we have a ton of guys that are those disciplined role football players that don't get beat, are assignment sound, or just tough kids. And you can win a lot of football games with those kids because they don't bite you. They do a great job when the pressure gets up. They just play the exact same, and they don't feel that heat. So I was definitely very, very proud of all those guys. I thought they did a great job. And
speaking of Jeff Stieber, I mean, he had that drop in the end zone that forced a turnover on downs, but he stepped up in the fourth quarter, had a couple big touchdown catches, including the game winner with 11 seconds to go.
He did. And that's what a senior captain does. He bounces back, he shakes it off. And he goes out and makes plays. I mean, we're not going to make every play that's out there. At the same time, when it gets crunch time, you're going to put the ball into your crucial players' hands. And I had no doubt where that football was going at the very, very end of that football game, and I knew he was going to make that play. That's Jeff, and that's what a leader does. He steps up and says, "That's my bad," and then he goes out and amends for it after that.
Let's shift our focus to this week, a marquee matchup on the road against one of the big surprises of the MAC, FDU-Florham. We'll get to their record-breaking quarterback and potent offense in just a second, but an interesting wrinkle to this game, obviously it's a Friday night matchup. How does that kind of alter the week of preparation for you guys?
It doesn't really alter it that much. We kind of changed up our schedule a little bit versus having an off day on Monday, practice on Monday and that type of thing, but we'll have the same number of practices, same level of preparation as we do every week, and those guys have had 2 weeks to prepare for us because they had a bye week last week, so they'll have a little bit extra time to prepare for us, but we're a little bit different from week to week too, so we'll always give them a little something different from week to week, and that'll be for them to find out on Friday.
It's an FDU team off to their best start since 1994. They've got their most wins since 2005 in a season already with 4. A lot of their recent success is thanks in part to Jagger Green, their quarterback. He's been great for them. He's 4th in the country in passing touchdowns, 9th in passing yards, 3rd in completions per game. He's got a good thing going with his senior receiver, an outstanding receiver, Mike Panzerino. What's the challenge that he's going to pose for your defense?
I mean, he's a very disciplined, smart quarterback. I think he does a lot of the things that we would like Jose to do as he moves forward and gets more elder in his career. He's been behind the center quite a bit. He's seen probably every defense you can probably throw at him. He's able to break that down and efficiently put the ball where it needs to be with great timing and great accuracy. And then he has some guys that can create some separation. You know what I mean? I think it'll be on us to confuse him a little bit, to get him off his mark. Again, I think that's going to be critical because I don't think he wants to really be a runner. Athlete enough to run if he needs to, but he would much rather just spread that football out and be a distributor. And very good across the board. It's not just Panzerino, it's all them, you know what I mean, on the edge, and he distributes the ball evenly throughout. Now I know Mike has had almost, I believe he's 2nd in the country.
I think it's 11 touchdown catches this year.
I know he's 11 touchdowns, but I know he's like 2nd in receptions as well in the country. So, but they have other guys that are right there as well. You know what I mean? So they're a talented offense. we're going to need to get them off the field on third down like any other place. And if we can steal a turnover or two, that could change the dynamic of the game.
What does that do for a defense going up against an offense like that? I mean, I watched a little bit of their game against Albright. They played with a lot of pace. They were up at the line immediately, quick passes and quick strikes. They eventually try to wear a defense out. How do you kind of counter that?
We take the ball for 40 minutes. You know what I mean? I think that, and that's what we do really well. You know, we eat clock. We possess the football. We're first in the league in first downs. We're first in the league, second league in time of possession. We're first in the league in third down conversions.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we hold on to the football offensively. If he's standing on the sideline, it's pretty tough for him to throw touchdown passes. But they've got a bunch of talented kids on defense too. Isaiah Turner, I think leads the league in sacks, and their safety. Ryan Wilson leads the league in interceptions. So they've got some kids on the defensive side of the ball that are doing some good things for him as well. So I think they're a very, very balanced football team.
Well, and that's the other thing I was going to ask about the defense. I mean, they're great against the rush. They get after the quarterback. They force a lot of turnovers and mistakes. So what's the specific challenges that's going to pose for your offense there?
I think it makes us be disciplined. You know what I mean? We're going to have to run the football. I think that they do a great job of stopping the run with their interior four.
Yeah.
Planter's pretty good off the edge, and then you add that with Isaiah and some of those other kids. They do a nice job of stopping the run, and they're physical and they're aggressive. You know what I mean? They're what you want to be. You know what I mean? I think that they do a great job of controlling gaps with the front. They don't let you run to their linebackers, and that's why those guys are able to make so many tackles and plays. And we're just going to have to be disciplined in our schemes and do the things that we do well and execute. If we can do that, we'll stay on the field. We'll continue to move the football, and we'll get points.
It's nice to be able to turn it on, like what happened against Albright in the fourth quarter, but is this a team in FDU that you can afford to do that against again? Or
we can go a shootout with anybody, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we have to score 75 points, I think we can score 75 points. I'm not worried about us offensively scoring points. I don't think that that'll ever be an issue with us. And if we get into a shootout, we get into a shootout, and whoever has the ball last will win the football game. I think that for us, like I said before, we'd like to control the clock and control the tempo of the football game and do some good things for us. And they score some points, they score some points. It's not going to change what we do. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that we